Testing, testing, one, two, three. Testing, testing, one, two, three. Hey, folks, hang in there. We're getting this worked out. You know, testing, testing, one, two, three. Okay, okay, okay. I think we're good there. And I believe, oh yeah. Thanks for hanging in here, people. We appreciate that. Let's see. All right, yes, yes. Okay, baby. All right, we're good to go today. We're good to go today, fellas. Yes, indeed, fellas. Stop hiding behind silence. Oh man, for those of you that stopped in here because of this title that says "Stop Hiding Behind Silence," I want to welcome you to day one. Right, well, we're just going to have a conversation over the next 5 days. Right, so if you miss a day, just come back. It may or may not be recorded. It's more than likely it will be because this is important that this gets to you. Right, so listen. I said it before this morning. Hope you got that. I want you to know that I heard you. The fellas that I've talked to, the people that I read about and hear, and over my experiences myself around what I'm getting ready to say to you, I heard you. Right? Like I did when I was a little boy, right? When I was a young kid, man, and my first romance. And I opened up and I told her, hey, I like you. Yeah. Well, you know how that went, right? It didn't go so well, man. Right? And so, but that lesson taught me something very important. Among other things, to never ever say that again in my life to a young lady. Woo! How many of y'all did that? Right? Never say that again to a young lady. And I was a young boy, man, in my teens, maybe not even that old, right? So, man, I get when we talk about showing vulnerability, and then they use that to destroy us sometimes. I get it, man. Yeah, I'm talking about as a child, but that lesson carried on, right? That lesson that she told me never to say things like that again, never be vulnerable, never be honest with my feelings. All those things, man. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to know I qualify to be here today, right? And I'm excited about the fact that, hey, when I make a promise to say that, if you hang in here with us, right, you show up and you do some work. This is for, I'm going to back up for a second. Let me just check in and see. Tell folks who this is for. So when you drop in the comments where you're from and why you're here, make sure you let me know what it is that is speaking to you, right? Because who this is for is the high level earning cat that's out there doing it, and men in particular. But those of you that I can identify with because of where my journey has taken me, that are still struggling, battling with that silence piece, right? Going quiet when the feelings get hurt, going quiet when uncertain about if you can be trusted, or if they can be trusted with you, right? If you can put your trust in them. Oh man, so that's a couple of things, right? And listen, you might have it all figured out and everything is cool, but I'm going to tell you something. We can never know enough. There's always something that may have been hidden that you thought you got worked out, that you figured out that it's not a problem, that shows up later on. So this thing is pretty much for everybody. Men, yes, ladies, if you're stopping in, we work with ladies as well, but I want to talk to the men this week who are using silence as a weapon. And more importantly, the reasons for it, the excuses that are made that you choose to stand in this space for, we're here to smash those excuses this week over these next 5 days, right? So I want you to know I heard you. I've got some notes here to keep us on course. So when you drop in, wherever you come in and catch the replay, listen, starts with this. I think I mentioned it at the beginning. Matter of fact, I know I mentioned it at the beginning of this whole thing when I know that there are so many men out there who are doing the right things, man, and you're trusting in the vulnerability piece. You're trusting in compromising your manhood. You're trusting in giving your feelings to someone that's supposed to take care of them, value your feelings and your relationships, but they don't. Right? That's one. And it's used in your face, aren't you supposed to be a man? Well, because I get it. Sometimes the emotions overcome us and men cry, and then that's not received well with certain populations and certain women and all that. But I'm not here to blame the women, guys. We are not blaming the women. They ain't about that. Those are the things that really happen to us, but how we deal with them or don't deal with them, and how we continue, how I continued to stuff things and pretend like everything was okay. Because this is about me too, right? Right? Why do you think I'm here talking to you today? Because I know one thing, that sooner or later in my life, I had to figure out that what I was doing wasn't working. And that strong image that I was portraying only kept all that pain and stuff stuffed inside, right? And it always got me closer and closer to being by myself, isolated, unable to show my feelings, unable to trust, unwilling to at a point. I made it a mission not to, right? So I'm gonna get honest with you. How many of you are out there making a mission not to be hurt again, not to be vulnerable, no matter what people are saying, no matter what the benefits are about vulnerability, authenticity, none of that stuff. Y'all want to make a move towards that ever again. How many of you are out there doing that? I know you're out there, right? I know you're out there, and that's okay. You're gonna be all right. Because listen to me, I'm gonna tell you there is an answer to this issue. Like I said before, just because your pain is real, just because what happened to you is really a real thing, doesn't mean we stay in that space. We stay stuck, right? So let me get to my notes here and see what we're talking about here. We want to make sure that I want to make sure that you know, when I say I know that silence, at first, silence did protect us. It did protect me. But after a while, I began to use it as a weapon myself. Right. So I want to speak to those people out there that are doing that too, that you are in a good, healthy relationship, right? And there's some things that you haven't resolved, or haven't been resolved in whatever work you're trying to do. For me, it was just, I was just unable to deal with some of the things I didn't know that I had a problem with, because I was in denial too, right, about this whole thing. I thought I was the good guy. It was them that was wrong. I'm gonna say that again. I thought I was the good guy and it was them that was wrong. That's part of it. I am, and I was, but I was wrong too. So I used that as a weapon myself, and hiding for years, man. But here's the hit, guys. And I'm gonna challenge you to listen to me when I say what I'm about to say to you. Don't take it personal, right? Because I'll tell you how it was for me. My journey to being able to stand here in front of you today took me in a space where I was always in bad relationships. I was always looked good on the outside, but I was sick. They were sick, right? I was sick. They were sick. Sick people attract sick people. So this whole conversation about vulnerability, man, I was so far away from that at that certain points in my life that I didn't. I thought I was being vulnerable. I thought I was being cooperative, but that was all just deceiving myself. Right? That was all about deceiving who I was, man. I was not. And I didn't know it. Right? I didn't understand the power of what we're going to talk about today. I didn't understand the power of putting a name to a feeling. I didn't understand what the feeling was, because I was pretty numb. Any of you out there that are numb, that you really don't have any feelings at all around it? They're there, but you've stuffed yourself so much, you've numbed yourself so all. But everything else, you got everything all around you so much in perfect shape that everything seems to feel and be okay. Anybody like that? I see this light flickering. Hang on a second, guys. Let me see if we can do something with that. Sorry about that. If it's annoying you, sometimes it's like that. Yeah, let me see here if we can move this thing around here and get something. Doesn't look like that's going to stop. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Helping you recognize the pain has become a shield. That's really what we're going to do today. But before we do, let me introduce myself to those of you who don't know me, and those of you that do. I always like to make sure I get this out. And, my name is Jeff Tyson, and I'm affectionately known as the Comeback King, and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, where we are a business based off of, transforming, right, a movement around how we see our comebacks in relationships, in particular in business, right? And we see them as a lifestyle, not a limitation. So we no longer hide behind things. We stand into our truth. We stand into our purpose through going through the struggle, man, and seeing the struggle as a particularly joyful process. I use particularly because it ain't always don't feel that way. Joyful process, and know that that's where the strength is given. That's know where the strength is found. And so when we're talking about the shield and peeling back the layers, man, and all that, this is a real thing. It's a really real thing. So we talked about who this thing is for. We talked a little bit about me, which I'll be sharing things throughout the session, right? Each day about me for those of you that don't know, and we'll give you some things from homework. So who's ready to go? Who's ready to understand the day's message today, which is around what? Naming the excuse. So that's a little tricky, so stay with me, right? It's first of all, it's naming it, but then you got to kind of attach where it comes from. I told you, right? I gave you an example at the beginning, and for those of you who may have missed it, right? Where when I was a young man and I was vulnerable and I didn't know about, anything about that, and then I told this girl I liked her, and she just wasn't very nice. And I swore I'd never do that again. So where did that's where my pain began in terms of relationships and trusting women with my vulnerability, right? With my willingness to be open and all that stuff. Where's yours? Where did it become? Where did it begin? And I had other issues around my self-image, right? Because I struggled with reading and some other things in school, even though I was fortunate to have a lot of skills athletically, and that gave me a lot of rewards in other areas, full rides, a college scholarship, all that stuff, right? But I still struggled, man. Still all that stinking thinking. That's why we talk about comebacks as a lifestyle. Because as an athlete, we all go through things, right? As an athlete. How many of us were athletes? Put in athlete, let me know what you did back then. And we learned how to overcome those things. We had a goal, right? We attach an emotion to that goal, and this is what we're going to be talking about today, right? Because I'm going to have a goal for you every day, guys. Every day you're going to have a goal, some homework to do with the idea of attaching a real, live, caring emotion to offset that stinking thinking one. So let's talk about how first that silence protected you, like I did. From that time on, I never said anything like that. I wanted to make sure that I was on guard and protecting my feelings and never expose myself too much, right? So I wouldn't feel that pain again, right? That rejection, right? That you put a name on what it was for you. I'm just talking about Jeff, right? When that first one, man. So fellas, listen. At some point, that silence for me kind of controlled how I acted. I'm gonna say that again. At some point in my relationships with me, the silence piece started to come up when I didn't want it to, right? After doing some work on myself around this issue, I still had trouble with silence, falling into silence, using it as a weapon, putting up walls with good, caring, and loving partners, right? I went from that needy, whatever that was, like I was, sick person, to someone that really had some value, really brought some things to the relationship. But that wall, that shield would come up still. Because I hadn't figured out where it was yet. I mean, I was beginning to work on it, right? And then once you start to work on things, fellas, as you know, right, your life begins to change and you feel like everybody else is getting better, but really the whole piece is about as you get better, so do the connections with your partners gets better, right? So what are we doing, guys? We're still here. We're talking about naming the excuse. So I want you, if you're going to catch this replay, I want you to really think about what is it? What is the excuse that's really lying underneath the trigger, right? Because you've got a trigger. You're in a relationship. Something happens. You can feel your body shifting into a different space, right? So that trigger, you've been triggered. Now you're going to go to what you know. And going to what you know is quieting down. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. How many times you say, yeah, I'm fine? Yeah, you want to talk about it? No, I ain't got nothing to talk about. Come on, man. This is really this some real life stuff. Simple as it sounds. See yourself in this position. That's how I was. I'm fine. Knowing that I really wanted to, in a healthy relationship, I really wanted to be that mature person. But I hadn't learned to name what it was I was feeling yet. So I put up the shield. Silence. Silence can be used as a powerful weapon, man. Because guess what, guys? Sooner or later, the healthy ones are going to say, listen, I love you. You have a lot of potential, but you ain't ready for a real relationship. How many times have you heard that? You're not ready for a real relationship because what is it that they told you? What were the reasons why they told you when you started to put up the silent shield and even make excuses and blame them for how you're really feeling? I mean, this talk. This is a safe space. When you get this replay, we don't broadcast this. This is a conversation I want you to have with yourself in silence, right? I want you to get something together in this space, man, because I'm going to tell you something, right? There is life after silence, baby. We'll say it one more time. There is life after silence. You can get better. You can begin to trust again. You can stand in that space of vulnerability where we are the most strongest in that space. I know everybody has their opinion, man. I'm just telling you how it was for me, right? And I don't care what other people might think of me, men, either. About men, I meet men that say, man, I'll never do those things. I don't have to do those things. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's for you. That works, right? And then there's the woman that accepts that. She understands that I have my limitations and I'm just keeping certain things from him, all that stuff. Man, no, that's the wrong partner. That's the wrong partner. If I'm not able to talk to my wife today with anything that's going on, because I think she may not understand, I think she doesn't need to know. That's wrong, man. Because the right partner's gonna lean in with you, baby. The right partner's gonna stand in there and say, "I got you." That's my experience, man, because I'm living that experience. I got you, Jeff. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for trying to tell me what's going on, right? Making an attempt, making an effort. Let's work through what you're trying to get to because it takes work and practice, man. Well, that's part of what we're going to talk to a little bit later on in the session. And I don't want to keep you much longer than where we are on the first day, but I just want you to hear me when I tell you this. Is it all right if I ask you some questions before I do that? Because I want to make sure I do. I want to give you something to think about. I've got 3 questions that I'd like to ask you. Is that cool? So let's start with the first one. And that first one is, I want you to write these down too. What am I really protecting? Is it my peace? I got a few things that I want you to ask. I'm going to ask you. What am I really protecting? That's number one. The trigger happens, right? She does something to you. She says something to you, and you're like, and you're already the shield's coming up. You're going into that silent space. I'm fine. I'm okay. Whatever that nonsense is we're talking about, right? Hey, this is going to keep it real conversation today, fellas. Over the next 5 days, we're going to keep it real. Wherever that thing comes, what triggers that, right? What am I really protecting? Write it down. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Because that's really the truth. So what am I really protecting? My peace, my pride, because I don't want to get hurt again. Right? I like it the way it is, and I'm okay using this tool, this mechanism to kind of keep myself safe. I like it where it is. My fear of being exposed and hurt again, fear of past experiences showing back up again, not being able to trust. That's part of my old wounds, right? All that stuff kind of ties back into some of the old wounds, man. Fear is going to happen again. Some emotions that come up again that haven't been settled and fixed, resolved. So That's it. 3 questions. Or that's only 1 question, but a lot of things for you to think about in that first question. What am I really protecting? Oh, listen to me, fellas, when I'm talking to you about this stuff, man. And you know, look, there's some of you that, like I did, may need a little therapy for a little while. That's cool. I encourage you to do that. I am not a therapist. I'm just talking about something that I've worked on over the last 30 years that really resolves a lot of issues for people that are ready to do something different, that are sick and tired of doing the same old thing, getting the same old results, and not looking in the mirror, baby. That's why we created the mirror moment. Not looking in the mirror, looking at the eyes of the eyes, looking back at you and saying, okay, I'm done hiding, making excuses. I'm ready to go. Someone guide me. I'm ready to go. Give me what I need to make the next step. So that's the first one, guys. What am I really protecting? Number 2, who is paying for what happened to me? I'm gonna say that one again. Who is really paying for what happened to me? Yes, your partner is, but you are, right? You are paying for the actions that you're not taking and the actions that you are taking that keep you isolated, that keep you shielded, that keep you silent. You are paying, man. And I'm gonna tell you something. You deserve not to have to be in that space. It's about you. Yes, it's about them. Yes, they can choose to stay or leave, but man, it's about you. Come on. And that's where some stuff really gets to be a little bit deeper, right? Usually there's some stuff uncovered laying around and still laying in your thought process, that still lays in your fibers, that still responds as part of that trigger. And we work through all that stuff. But anyway, just something to think about. So that's 2. What? 1 is, what am I protecting? And who is paying for what happened to me? In my current relationships, paying for the pain from my past. Are they? Chances are they are. I know mine did. Right? Because I hadn't started to really understand the power of the excuse and the limitations that it created in my life. Fellas, come on now. Hear me when I'm talking to you, man. 3rd one, what strength? What strength? This is something that I want you to think. What strength, man? What strength is that? Pain here. What strength is trying to be produced in you while you're going through this? What is it? Here's 2 things. Is it pain to keep me bitter and stuck? Right? Stuck on fill in the blanks. Or is it calling me to grow? I'm here today to call you to grow. Right? And I'm being frank when I talk about excuses. I'm being frank with, yeah, you need to, there's nowhere to go. I can't find some place to go. That mirror, baby, that mirror is you and you in the mirror. There is a place to go. If you don't ever find anybody else, there is a place that you can go in your own comforts of your own home, man. Right? And then begin to journal what it is that you're feeling when you look in that mirror. Begin to journal what it is, what you're thinking about that triggers that energy. Where is that coming from? I'm telling you, you can connect the dots. You don't have to have a men's group. And I promote men's groups. I do, but I'm telling you, look, I'm tired of people saying, well, the men's groups don't work. I can't find the men's group. Look in the freaking mirror at home, in your phone, with an intention. With the intention of, is this silence, this experience teaching me how to grow, or do I want to stay bitter? Look in the freaking mirror, man. Look, guys, I'm gonna keep talking about pain becomes strength when you stop using it to justify the withdrawal. Right? Stop using it to justify the withdrawal and use it to start building wisdom. Use it to start building courage. Use it to start really cleaning up the crap that's got you in this space where you want to do these exercises and where you want to go back to retreating into silence anyway. Right? At the end of the day, man, we all have something that really is the line underlying that outlier that is really pushing us to where we're going. Emotional discipline is the name of the game. Emotional, and then you put some discipline on it, right? And what are we talking about? That's basically looking at what we talked about today. As we start to recap, we talked about what? Naming the excuse, owning that excuse, understanding that it's okay if that's how you feel. Get yourself some slack, man. Look, we are not perfect human beings. You know, I know I'm not the only one that grew up with a pops who and moms, for this case, that were very emotionally strong. They had to be right in that time, and then with that though, there were some things that I didn't learn how to be, right? Just like you probably didn't learn how to be. But is it something I still stand on today? I realized that I had stood on that for a long time in my life before I realized, man, I'm making excuses. This ain't right. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be taking a risk in someone. It's okay. So I'm just gonna say this: if you doing this thing, man, and everybody you run into is coming back at you, and using it to attack you, then look at what you're doing. Look at what you're choosing, because we still attract what we are. We still attract what we are, man. I don't know how. I'm a simple guy. I keep things real simple, right? If my stuff is all messed up, it's because of what I'm choosing. If my stuff is all jacked up, look at me first. Take the responsibility for me. I'm tired of this. I can't find a place to go. Come on, man. I'm giving you one. The freaking mirror in your house, mirror in your phone. That's where it starts, baby. Come on. Look, I ain't for everybody. I'm gonna tell you something. Those of you that are really ready to do something different, man, hang in here these next few days. Let's have a conversation, right? Let's just have a conversation. You know, I really, you know, I hesitated to kind of come in here and talk about this stuff for a minute because there's so many different people talking about it. But you know what? I'm gonna stand in my space where I am at, and I'm gonna tell you something, guys. There is freedom in this whole process. There is truly freedom in this process, man. But you got to do some work. Some things you have to go a different direction on. Some things you have to learn. I had to learn how to let go. I had to learn how to understand that when I looked in that mirror, I wanted to look at the person looking back at me and then allow those emotions to come. When those emotions came, I started to write them down, right? And pay attention to them, right? Pay attention to them because that's where the trigger starts, right? Once that trigger starts, boom, the emotion's off and running, and then there's no discipline. Back to old behaviors, that vicious viral circle, man. So if you're just catching in and stopping in, let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know what you missed. If you got any questions about anything, we've talked a little bit about some things, but the main point of this whole day one thing is really to kind of help you start to name I'll be nice, name the reason why you go into science. I put excuses in there for myself. What's the real excuse you're making? Then you say, I'm okay when they start that conversation and you're like, I don't want to talk about it now, or I'm okay, or what's wrong, nothing. You know all the reasons that you use to get into that silent space, and then you can kind of control the environment, right? And listen, guys, I'm gonna keep saying this. If you're in a situation and the lady allows you to operate like that, two things gonna happen. One, a strong lady's gonna say, all right, I love you, but I got to go. The other one's just gonna keep driving you crazy, right? Because they're accepting that. They allow you to operate like that. So that's why we attract who we are and how we are. Come on, man. So I want to give you a step, something easy to do, right? Something to kind of just test out to see how you really respond and why you respond. Let me make sure I got all this, and I may have left some stuff in here, but We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll just kind of keep picking it up. So what do I have here today? Right. Okay, here we go. I'd like you to write this down. Name one place where you have been using pain as an excuse. What do you mean, Jeff? I mean, I'm talking about the fellas in the relationship, right? You're dealing with your partner, whoever your partner might be, and you're at this, something's been triggered, right? And now you're into that retreat mode. You're into that shell mode. You're coming back into the shell, right? You're going to that silence. Silence us forever, like James Bond, whatever that is. So you're in that space, right? That's what I'm talking to, right? So name one place where you have been using pain as an excuse, using that situation as an excuse. And then finish this sentence. I wrote this down for you. I sat down because blank, but I'm ready to grow by. I sat down because, but I'm ready to grow by. I have an example for you. I'm gonna make this thing easy for you, man. You gotta do some work. Every day I want you to do some work. Leave here with something that you come back to me and you do it. And if it doesn't work, I want you to tell me. Right? But you gotta do it, man. This is for cats to really do some work. You ready to do some work, man? Now let's get busy. So here we go. Here's an example. I sat down because I felt judged. That piece I've shut down, you put in your words. I felt judged. I felt compromised. I felt undervalued. I felt criticized. But I'm ready to grow by, and here's me, right? I'm ready to go by telling the truth without attacking or disappearing. Oh man, come on, that disappearing piece, baby. That's the hit right there. I was Casper the Black Ghost. I would disappear in a minute, man. My feelings got hurt. Ooh wee. You ain't gonna hurt me. No, 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 no. I know I'm not the only one. Right. So do this homework. I don't have it in the comment section. I'm gonna ask you. I sat down because blank, but I am ready to grow by, and then fill in the blank. And I gave you the example. I sat down because I felt judged. Man, how many times have we feel judged? And that shit hurts, man. It hurt. I don't want to be hurt. I don't like my feelings to be hurt. I don't like none of that. The life is that way sometimes. But fellas, I'm telling you, do this one exercise today. And then really just kind of sit down and think about everything you can put in there. I shut down because, and I know there's a plethora of stuff, reasons why. I had a bunch of, right? And they're all excuses, man. Aren't you tired of carrying that? I know you are. That's why you're stopping in and out, right? This ain't a conversation you want to probably have, but it's one you need to listen to, right? So comment section, let me know where you are when you hear this, and man, you know, I want you to hear me when I say this to you. After today, your pain no longer has to be your excuse. It doesn't. As we wrap this up today, your pain doesn't have to be your excuse, reason to shut down, any of that stuff. But I want to read something to you. It's real simple. Now, hear me when I say this, and just imagine this being you. Your pain doesn't have to be why you shut down. Here's the hit. But it cannot excuse why you stay hidden. Your pain can explain why you shut down, but it cannot be your excuse as to staying hidden. Man, so I really want you to just let that wash over you, right? Your pain may explain, like that piece in there where I wrote down, I shut down because that pain I got from feeling judged, that pain I got from being abused, that pain I got from whatever that encounter was for you is real. But I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you today that it's no longer let that be the excuse for staying stuck, staying in hidden space, right? Stop being the ghost when somebody's sitting right next to you. They still see you. You still are breathing. You're still taking up air. You're still taking up space, man. Woo! So if this is resonating with you, if this has any inkling of a possibility that it's not you completely, but some friend of mine, put in the comment section truth. Or if you're too lazy to write down truth, just put T down it. Right? And show up tomorrow, man. Same time, 1:30. Do the exercise. Please do that exercise. Do it with open-mindedness, right? Be willing, open-minded, and be honest about what's really feeling. And if you don't feel like this is a safe enough space, then DM me. You know, I don't have my calendar link in here. It'll be out tomorrow. DM me about what's really going on with you. And let's have a conversation. Now is the time, right? These next 5 days is the time, baby, because summer's coming. I got a whole bunch of other stuff that we're getting ready to get into. But man, I want you to hear me when I tell you this. The power of naming one place we have been using the pain as an excuse will help you start to take ownership. One place. Where are you using it? I promise you this. I promise you this, baby. You do that. Hey, if you're really serious about it, you do that, man. Start to put some names on stuff. You're going to start to understand that you do have the ability to make things different, right? You do have the ability to find another way to live. No longer suffering in silence. No longer using silence as a weapon. And I was the master, man, because it's all about control, right? If I can control somebody as sick as I am, yeah, you know, it goes both ways, right? Sick people attract sick people. Anyway, I said that enough. So let me see if there's anything else I got. Tomorrow, you know, yeah. Let me just give you a recap about what we're doing tomorrow. It's gonna kind of pick up on where it is. Let's talk about tomorrow. We're gonna talk about learn when silence is wisdom, and when it's fear dressed up as strength. Okay, so do the homework. Share this information with who you need to. Reach out to me, DM me, say, Jeff, man, I like what you said, or I don't like what you said, but I want to talk to you some more, however that might be, or I know somebody that would you be willing to talk to, however that might be for you today. But man, let's just stop staying in the state of excuses. Stop losing the opportunity with some powerful partners, man. Right? Ooh, as I close this thing up, man, I want to tell you something. When I learned the power of what I'm talking to you about, the freedom that it gave me, right, and by doing the simple thing of taking responsibility and naming the excuse that I was making, blaming her, right? What am I blaming her for today? So that I can behave the way I want to behave. That way, if I can behave this way, I don't have to change and all of that stuff. But at some point, man. At some point, I said I was trying to reach out to keep the woman that I wanted that was helping me, but I couldn't because I had been so isolated, been so used to using the silence and trapped myself. So you know, I always talk about the big bear hugs that we give people, but I found myself with alligator arms. I was like this. I couldn't reach. Who's got alligator arms out there that want to reach out and hold that person that's trying to help you? That's really you're making excuses of so you can stay over here and be protected rather than reaching out because you got the alligator arms, excuse me. You don't have to live that way anymore. So we will see you tomorrow, 1:30 Central Time. Sorry about the few minutes late getting started here. And pain becomes strength when you stop using it as permission to hide. Pain becomes strength when you stop using it as permission to hide. Start using it as fuel to heal. It's time to heal, baby. And remember, when we talk about a Comeback King Enterprises, the lifestyle is about the comeback is about a lifestyle, not a limitation. And hiding behind silence doesn't have to be what you do the rest of your life. Let's make a difference. Do that homework. Yes, do the homework. Where's the homework? I'm going to read it to you one more time before I get out of here. I shut down because blank, but I am ready to grow by blank. Example, I shut down because I felt judged. I shut down because you hurt my feelings. I shut down because I'm just a whiner. I shut down because I'm used to making excuses. I'm shut down because whatever it is, but I'm ready to grow. By telling the truth without attacking or disappearing. Do that exercise. Let me know how I can help you tomorrow. Think about what this is, what we've talked about. And if there's something missing, something on your heart, just drop it in the comment sections. Reach out to me if you're really ready to do something different. You're really ready to put down silence as a weapon and excuses as the reason why you're still where you are. You could be in a relationship at home, you're going home and all this other stuff, but you're isolated and you're stuck. Married, great wife, killing it, and you're still stuck. Or trying to get married in a relationship where you know this woman and she's demonstrated time and time again that she's there for you. Yeah, she's not perfect. And maybe she did hurt your feelings, hurt your heart. So what? If it was true, right, and you didn't really stay in it, you just went to that silent space, it ain't her fault. And look, his fault. Whatever relationship you're in, I don't judge. I don't care. Whatever it is, it's not their fault. And yes, you can't get hurt, but you got to look at where you are. What value are you bringing to the relationship then that you can continue to keep getting hurt in? There's a reason for that too. All right, so pain becomes strength when you stop using it as permission, baby, to isolate and stay stuck. So, on behalf of Comeback King Enterprises and collaboration with Conversations with Jeff that brought this to you today, we want to say thank you very much. Show up tomorrow 1:30. Drop a comment in there where you are. I'm going to run this replay later on today. So if you get the replay, let me make sure, please, you drop it in the comments so we can reach out to you. Don't miss tomorrow, baby. With tomorrow, we're going to be doing what? Man, what are we doing tomorrow? We're going to learn when silence is wisdom. Wisdom becomes after experience, right? So we're going to talk about how you can stop using silence and gain some wisdom about your behaviors, that internal mechanism, what's triggering you, why it's triggering you, right? All that kind of stuff. Real simple questions. And when it is fear dressed up as strength, because fear is a real thing. All right, guys, got to go. Have a great day. Appreciate everybody. Remember, you watch the recording, drop in the comments where you're from and how this resonates with you. And by all means, reach out to me directly. I'm attainable tomorrow. I'll have my calendar link in here. And just know that you are meant for more. Get out of your way, fellas. Silence is not where you need to be. Let's help you get out of that. All right. Take care. We'll see you. Connect. Go to Conversations with Jeff. Like and subscribe. And I know everybody has a friend, a male friend out there that's going through the same thing you are. Invite them back tomorrow. Right? You come back tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a great day. Appreciate everybody. And as always, at Comeback King Enterprises, your lifestyle is based off of your comeback. Embrace that. Let's rise together. This week, let's walk together. All right. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care now. Bye-bye.